It's 100% entertainment, 100% electricity, 100%.
Pipebomb Radio with your host, Felix Olmedo.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man.
And Austin James.
That's the bottom line. From stone to stone.
Welcome, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. We are live for Pipebomb Radio tonight. In this case, we have a very special show tonight, but right off the bat, I have to let everybody know that my partner in crime, Austin, will not be able to join us tonight as I interview WWE Hall of Famer, Reality of Wrestling owner, Booker T. I will be calling him here shortly, but I just wanted to give everybody a heads up. Austin, we miss you, buddy. Hopefully, next time we get Booker on, we'll bring you back. We'll have you with us and have a rockin' part 2 for Booker. But in order to have a part 2, we need a part 1. So, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and place the call to Booker and go from there, and we'll get this show on the road. Hope everybody enjoyed last night's show. The Chalmation sensation, Danny Flamingo, on with us last night. Quite a character. Wish the Wildcat guys the best of luck on their show. This coming Saturday night comes coincidentally the same night as the Reality of Wrestling guys as well. But nonetheless, enough of me talking my ear off here. I'm going to go ahead and place a call here to Booker T. He is patiently awaiting my call. And I think we're going to have a good show tonight. And, you know, if I can do it 2 nights in a row with dialing the right number and not having any problems with my phone, it'll be a miracle. But here we go.
Hello.
Hello, this is Felix with Pipebomb Radio. How you doing, Booker?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
Just go ahead and I'm just giving you a call to learn a little bit more about Reality of Wrestling and hear about, understand exactly what you guys got coming up this week, your very first internet pay-per-view. I bet you guys are all excited for that.
We ready to go?
Yeah, we're live right now.
All right, man. I normally get a big intro, man, you know, before I come on the air. You know, my music's playing and all that.
How about if I do this? We welcome everybody, the 6-time, I don't know if I go 6-time world champion, Reality of Wrestling owner, and WWE Hall of Famer, the one and only, the legendary one half of the greatest tag team in professional wrestling, Harlem Heat. He is the Machine.
That's what I'm talking about right there. That's the intro that I was looking for. Hey, Kevin, what's going on, man?
My apologies. I got that out of the way for you.
I appreciate it. But definitely, man, give me the scoop. What's your questions, man? What's your questions? Hit me with anything, man.
You know, I do got a few questions, definitely. First off, I wanted to ask you, we'll start off, we'll kind of skip around a little bit, but I wanted to get your scoop on how you what was it that really got you wanting to pursue a career in professional wrestling? I know that's a question you probably get asked hundreds of times, but if you don't mind, you can share that little story with us again.
Definitely. Well, wrestling definitely wasn't my dream coming up as a kid, but my brother used to love it. You know, and my brother, I think my brother dreamt of being a wrestler. He was a pretty big guy, and that's what drove me into wrestling. My brother knew a guy opened a wrestling school by the name of Ivan Pusky. You've heard of him before, I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
And he asked me if I wanted to try it out as well, and I was like, man, yeah, I tried it out. And luckily, the guy that I was working for at that time sponsored me to go to the wrestling school because it was $3,000. And, man, so, you know, I paid the money, and 24 years later, boom, yeah, I am a Hall of Famer. But I think it was my brother's dream, and he was just letting me ride along with him.
Hey, you know, that would actually lead me into my next question. What's Stevie been up to these last few years? I mean, I know we haven't really seen much of him. I know he's been appearing a lot in your company, Reality of Wrestling. Have you guys thought about getting the itch about coming back and maybe having that one good tag team match? I mean, I was watching your interview that you did with Bill Apter, you and Stevie, and you know, I wouldn't mind a WrestleMania match. He's got to be in the books. I have to think WWE would definitely be silly not to think about doing that. For this, I mean, nostalgia has been a big thing these last few years, and
yeah.
you know, we got to see Harlem Heat come back and do it one more time.
my thing is, I never say never. You know, me and my brother, we do. You want to have one more match, whether it be in WWE or Reality of Wrestling. You know, it's really not going to matter. I think we want to do that, I think, more from a personal perspective more than anything. You know, we had our biggest pop, you know, as far as when we first won the Global Tag Team Championships. It wasn't as big, but it meant just as much. So I think my brother and I having one last match, I think that's going to mean more to us than having it at a WrestleMania or anything like that. But we do want to go out the way we came in.
Awesome. And got to get your opinion about probably one of the biggest upsets in wrestling history, at least for 2014. How did you feel personally as a fan, because I know you're a fan, of seeing the Undertaker streak ending? Was it a shocker, or was it something that you weren't ready to see end yet? I mean, how did you feel about it?
You know, I'm a big, you know, I'm a realist. You know what I mean? Evolution, you know, is just something that happens. You know, and as far as the streak getting broken, I mean, I thought it was only fitting for it to get broken, you know, one day, you know, and you know, pass the torch to someone. Be that as it may, it being Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, or you know, CM Punk or whoever. You know what I mean? It really didn't matter. You know what I mean? But it was really honorable, you know, for Undertaker to let the streak be broken. You know, this thing that we this business that we're in, you know, there's very few guys that's that unselfish. You know what I mean? So I give a lot of props, you know, to the Undertaker really knowing who he is when he looks in the mirror. You know, and that's really what it's all about at the end of the day.
Absolutely. I still remember the match that you had with him back in, I think it was 2004, when you were seeking the help of a voodoo lady. You remember that?
Yeah. It didn't work for me either. You know, I tried, but it didn't work for me. But I had a hell of a time trying, you know, and just to be in the ring with the Undertaker, you know, pretty much solidified my career.
You know, it was definitely entertaining to watch. You guys, I mean, you're professional and it's just as much as he is, and you guys definitely had good chemistry. And I for one, definitely enjoyed the feud. But I also wanted to touch on, I don't know if many people bring it up at all or hardly anymore, but it was definitely a moment I enjoyed in your career when you were working with Goldust. Any fond memories you care to share about working with Goldust?
Me and Goldie was, you know, we were the ultimate odd couple, but I tell you, it worked to perfection. We had some great times, you know. It was a team that many people in the beginning probably didn't think we were going to have a lot of success, but Goldie and I, you know, we're from the old school, and, you know, for us, it was all about going out there and entertaining and giving the people something special on a weekly basis, you know. I mean, there was a lot of ha-ha, you know, but at the end of, you know, Goldie and I's tenure, you know, the fans were really sad. They were really upset. They didn't want to see Goldust and Booker T break up just because of the, you know, fun-filled memories that we had brought them, you know what I mean? So I think that's what wrestling is all about, getting a position, taking that position, and making it your own no matter what that position is.
Very well said. I couldn't agree more with that. And going back to as a fan back in the old WCW days, you guys during that time, I really feel like they had some of the great tag teams during that time, and you guys were really at the top of that heap. I mean, you can't really deny that. And then having Sherry Martel with you guys, I think it really just gave you that extra needed edge to get you over to the next level, even if you really needed it. But I mean, it took you to that next level because Sherry was definitely an established manager who knew her stuff. Was there any memories, any particular matches that you enjoyed having during your WCW tenure with Stevie, or even as an individual in your pursuit of a world title? Because I know you guys had several, oh my goodness, probably the most tag team title wins that I can think of in WCW. You know, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was 12 times, right?
No, actually it was 10 times, you know, but we set the record. We set the bar that it'll never be broken. I tell you, just the time, you know, with my brother, you know, being on the road, being there with me, you know, in the beginning of my career, you know, definitely gave me a sense of, you know, I felt safe, you know what I mean, because I knew I had my brother watching my back, you know, and to actually, you know, slip on a banana peel and, you know, get Sherry Martel as a manager, you know, that was even, you know, more icing on the cake for us right there. Definitely solidified us and made us major players, you know, right from the beginning. You know, so right there, that was the beginning of Harlem Heat, really, title reigns, you know, beginning to happen, you know, and I really don't think we would have been as successful without Sherry Martell. I honestly do believe that, you know, so definitely she was the fuel to the fire, and as far as memories go, man, I can't even tell you, man, there's so many of them. You know what I mean? So many memories, you know, with Sherry Martell and Booker T and Stevie Ray being on the road, going up and down the roads, you know, almost starting riots at a lot of those times, you know. It was great times.
Absolutely. You know, I remember the times with I think it was Sherry was pursuing the story, of course, she was supposed to marry Colonel Parker and all that mess, but that was a lot of fun. You know what? I remember Sherry's speech because I was there in Chicago when she was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and she gave a lot of thanks to you guys and loves you guys like crazy, and I know the feeling was mutual. I was just proud to even be there to see it. She gave a lot of thanks to guys, and also a very good friend of hers and somebody I think you know quite well, Kathy Fitzpatrick.
Oh yeah, that's my girl.
She will be calling in here in a moment here. She did want to actually talk with you if you're okay with that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. I just had a couple more questions, and then I'll see about if I bring on Kathy here in just a minute here. All right, you know what? If you're okay with it, I think she is calling in now. If you don't mind if I bring her on?
Go ahead.
All righty. Hey, Kathy, how you doing?
Felix?
Hello, Kathy.
Might need to speak up a little bit. I don't think he can hear you.
Hey, guys, what's up?
Hey, what's happening? On my way to school right now. On my way to school right now to get some work done for Reality of Wrestling this week.
Yeah, I got to see the show last week in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was real. You know what? You've always been the best. You and Stevie and Charmel. Let me tell you, you guys have taken this to an. I really, really enjoyed the show last week. I saw.
Hey man, appreciate it, man. There's a lot more to come. You know, right now we just coming through Comic Palooza, and now we're getting right back on track as far as our regular shows and whatnot. And we're getting ready for our first internet pay-per-view here on Saturday. Man, it's just like overwhelming right now. I'm like so amped up. I feel so great, you know what I mean? But I got those butterflies just like getting ready to wrestle all over again. But I'm ready, man. I'm ready for it. You know, we got a stacked card, you know what I mean? Right now, ticket sales are going good. So I'm excited.
And if they want to get tickets, they can go on to realitywrestling.com.
Yeah, definitely go to realitywrestling.com.
You also have a few guest stars coming on there, too.
Yeah. We got Diamond Dallas Page, Teddy Long is going to be there. Jinder Mahal, Brother D-Bud is going to be making an appearance. Carlito also is going to be making an appearance at Reality of Wrestling. He's scouting to see if he wants to sign on to be a part of Reality of Wrestling, actually. And I would definitely will be, welcome someone like Carlito to be a part of Reality of Wrestling, and that's what this thing's about, man. It's just trying to keep the spirit alive.
It's definitely that's a cool thing to get Carlito. Very cool. No pun intended.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
But as we were talking about, in your career as well, you also had the honor of going into probably the world's most famous arena, of course, Madison Square Garden, and was given the honor to go into the Hall of Fame and be inducted by your brother. What was that feeling like, getting to stand out there and accept the induction after a very moving speech your brother gave? How did you? What were some of the thoughts going through your mind then at that time?
It was a place I never saw myself, in the Hall of Fame. Really, it's just, that was a place that was pretty much unattainable in my own mind, But I always knew my body of work, deserved me being in the Hall of Fame. But when it, finally happened, I was like, wow, man, this thing's really going down, and I was really nervous, but I didn't know what I was going to say when I got out there, But I knew I just wanted to thank a lot of people that was instrumental in, in getting me to that point. I definitely want to thank my wife, for, being with me and standing by me all those days and nights on the road and whatnot, and then my kids, they were as well. It was a night that I was, remember for the rest of my life. It was a great moment, and as well as to be in the class that I was in, with Bruno Sammartino, Mick Foley. It was some major players, in that class right there too. You know what I mean? So I was lucky, to be a part of it, as well as blessed at the same time. I wouldn't give it up for anything.
And you got to do a spin and Rooney to make it the icing on the cake.
Yeah, did a spin and Rooney. Finished it off. I always wanted to make sure if I was to ever go into the Hall of Fame, I wanted to be able to do the spin and Rooney. Right there on stage. And I got a chance to do that. As well as more importantly, I got a chance to thank the fans. A lot of us wrestlers, we go through this journey that we don't really get a chance to, thank the fans for, supporting us for all those years and whatnot, but the fans really is, the instrumental part as far as making all this stuff happen. And I got a chance to do that, like I say, so many guys, didn't get a chance to do that, the Kurt Hennings, the guys like Rick Rude, guys like, the real major big-time superstars, they didn't get a chance to do that, you know what I mean? But I was blessed.
Absolutely. And at this point, you actually went on to become the analyst for the pre and post shows for Monday Night Raw, and I'm not sure they do SmackDown. I think they do. They still do SmackDown, but the pay-per-view.
No, we just actually do the pay-per-view as well as Monday Night Raw now.
Oh,
pre and post shows.
Okay. How do you like doing that little working with Alex Riley? I know you two definitely have good chemistry on camera, and you guys look like you have a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's like Skip Bayless, and, but we go out there and have fun. I love it, I love it, The format is cool and laid back. We actually can get a chance now to, create a little bit of, little bit of dirt, bring a little bit of, heat to the show. It's like such as stuff with Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. Daniel Bryan getting married and throwing himself totally out of the picture. You know what I mean? We get a chance to actually, give it some real talk and some real feel to it. And that's what I'm all about. You know what I mean? I couldn't be up there if I just couldn't be myself and be real. You know what I mean? So they let me go, and I just do my thing.
And I'm curious, and I'm not sure if you've been asked this or not, but I am very curious from a fan's perspective. What gave you the idea to create your baby, really? I mean, create Reality of Wrestling?
Oh, man, what made me want to create Reality of Wrestling? When I was a kid coming up, when I watched wrestling, it was a lot of big guys, it was like, man, those guys were superstars, and it was almost like it was, something that was unattainable. And, young people didn't know how to get into the business. They didn't really know what it was about, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to, gear young people into, thinking a totally different way and, seeing that, man, these aren't kids just like myself on the Reality of Wrestling that's doing this. Man, if that kid could do it, I could do it. A parent will see it and see, man, my kid can do that as well, And my thing in Reality of Wrestling, we teach, young people how to do this. And, so therefore it's entertainment at its highest form. And I just wanted to, give kids a springboard such as something that I didn't have. I didn't want to be one of those guys who were just taking kids' money, and not giving them anything, So right now, kids get a chance to go to my school, and then they get a chance to graduate, to my high-octane show. From that high-octane show, they get a chance to graduate to Reality of Wrestling. If they can make it on Reality of Wrestling, they can make it anywhere in the world going out there and performing and doing this, what we call professional wrestling entertaining. And that's really what really prompted me to want to do Reality of Wrestling.
That's very inspiring. I thank you for sharing that. And on a side note, I wanted to ask you, do you actually do DDP yoga? It ain't your mama's yoga.
Man, I've tried it. You know what I mean, but it's hard for me to get off into stuff like that. You know what I mean. As I get older, maybe I want to get off into it a little bit more. But right now, I'm just in the gym working out, trying to stay ahead of myself, which is something that's totally impossible.
No, trust me, I understand that. With the announcement, I know this was also a topic. I mean, are you guys ready for SummerSlam? I know the announcement was made with Cena going to face the returning Brock Lesnar, and you had commented about that. I mean, your thoughts about the main event going into SummerSlam in about 4 weeks?
Oh, man, I like it. It's a great match to have, great main event. I mean, Brock Lesnar, who else going to go in that spot to really, make some waves, turn some heads and make people go wow. And, of course Randy Orton could have, gotten put in that spot. Of course Roman Reigns, could have, got that spot, you know what I mean? But who better than Brock Lesnar, in my opinion, to take that spot and go out there and, do battle with John Cena. It's going to be a war. I mean, people can say what they want to say about John Cena, but, he does nothing to go out and have, good matches on the big stage. You know what I mean? Brock Lesnar, since he's been back, I mean, I take nothing away from him. He's been working his behind off every time he goes out there and perform, you know what I mean? So I definitely take nothing away from him. Just even though he's a part-time guy, he's not there all the time. You know what I mean? That's the deal that he brokered. When these young guys can broker a deal like that and start selling some tickets, then they can speak up.
Hey, that's very true. And, with the going back real quick, going to rewind one more time back to the last day of, WCW. I mean, you'll forever be known as really the last WCW World Heavyweight Champion. What were your thoughts as the doors closed on it? Were you feel like it was ready to close? Do you think that there could have been, Nitro could have stood alone if they would have kept it going in WWE, if they maybe had a Nitro on a different night, that Nitro could have continued on, or do you think it was time to close the doors?
Oh, of course it could have continued on, but that wasn't the master plan.
Understood.
The master plan was to win, and the war was over. Once the doors were closed, you know what I mean. That's the way I looked at it. For me, it was definitely time to. It was time for me to move on. I would have loved WCW to have been around for another 10 years, I would have loved to have, perhaps retired, at WCW, but that wasn't to be. At that time, the way the company was going, I was tired. It was time for me to go ahead and move on and, test myself, you know what I mean? I could easily have gotten, comfortable, and, love that, lifestyle, but to test yourself, to go out there and, see if you're, amongst the best in the world out there that go out there and do this on a nightly basis, that's what I want to do. I want to see if I was just as good as all the guys in the WWE. It was always a question if WCW guys were as good as WWE guys. So I wanted to prove it to the world that WCW guys was just as good, even if I was the only one.
And you did that. You know what? You came over into WWE. You reinvented yourself. You reinvented yourself, and really just paved the way for yourself to really have a great career, a Hall of Fame career, if you will. And, going on to do as many things as you got to do, Hall of Fame was definitely, you created a body of work that can never be touched again. I mean, with your time with Stevie, with your time with on your own in WCW, even in when working with your wife, Sharmell, and King Booker and Sharmell. Yeah. All hail King Booker to the ring. That was, I got to say, that was some entertaining stuff. What was it like working with your wife during that time?
It was one of the best parts of my career, you know what I mean? Actually, because I was getting tired, and I actually didn't want to do it anymore, and I wanted to quit, and then my wife, because I was away from my wife, I had just gotten married, and they was like, well, let's bring her on the road, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, that'd be cool. So they hired her, and she was always my queen. And that's what I always refer to her as. And then the King of the Ring just happened to come along, and it just gave me more life as well to go out there and, see my, what my range, what kind of range did I have, as far as going out there really entertaining, Hollywood style, really trying to, push myself to see exactly how far I could go from an entertaining standpoint. Not, being afraid to put myself, out there as well, So I tell you, it was a great point of my career. It was a great time in my life. I wouldn't change it for anything, but I tell you, it was the hardest time as well because, actually having to pull that off, I was on the show sometimes 3 times, you know what I mean? I would be in the dark match after the show, you know what I mean? So being king and being world champion at that time, was probably one of the best times and one of the hardest times of my career.
but you're also definitely you took yourself away from that Booker T character and really created something separate, a whole different entity, if you will, with the King Booker character and the King's Court with Regal and Finlay and great stuff. And now Sharmell is actually the general manager of Reality of Wrestling. And we're going to move over into that. You got your very first internet pay-per-view. You guys have if I'm not mistaken, I read on your Facebook that you guys have a TV deal out there based out of Texas. And, just wanted to hear how things are going now and leading into the pay-per-view this Sunday. Or Saturday, excuse me.
Yeah. Sharmell is not just the general manager. She's the boss. she takes care of everything.
I've seen some of your shows. She's the boss.
But definitely I'm going into our first internet pay-per-view, and it all sparked around December when we did get our local television deal here on the Cube. We come on late night on the Cube, but it sparked everything to getting a small national deal with a network called Soul of the South, ssn.tv.com. Check it out on soulofthesouthnetwork.com. And, once we got with those guys, we're being aired now in a lot of different places around the country. So we want to let everybody get a chance to see what Reality of Wrestling was all about by doing our first internet pay-per-view. It's only $4.99. You can go to realityofwrestling.com and, check out how you can log on and whatnot. But we wanted everybody to get a chance to see Reality of Wrestling as well as to be able to support Reality of Wrestling because I know it's a lot of young people out there that really want to do this and, they want to make it to that next level, but they don't know the first step. And I tell you, the first step is Reality of Wrestling, the flagship of Texas wrestling. So this Saturday night is going to be totally a night to remember. Our main event, the Mysterious Q will be going against the Samoan Beast. In the Mysterious Q's corner will be Diamond Dallas Page. In the Samoan Beast corner, there will be Stevie Ray lurking in the wings, of course. We're going to be crowning our first Diamonds champion. Our Diamonds is our Divas, our Knockouts, but we call them our Diamonds. Sponsored by Lewis Diamonds as well. But we're going to be crowning our first diamond, and that's going to be a great thing as well. We got 10 girls that's going to get in there and just going to be rock 'em, sock 'em, all night long. We got Ruthless Ryan Davison taking on the prize. That's been a feud that's been building around here for quite some time. Of course, we got the Hammer, who's going to be taking on a surprise opponent. You really don't want to miss that right there. Of course, Abel Andrew Jackson will be having his State of the Union address. He will be in a huge match as well. And you don't want to miss out on this thing. Like I say, Teddy Long, he's going to be, totally in control as well. He's going to be Holla player. He'll be second in command under Sharmell's advisement. So I tell you, it's going to be a night to remember. I'm so, like I say, amped up. Go to realityofwrestling.com. Like I say, follow me on Twitter at Booker T5X. I'm going to be dropping some tweets out between there and Saturday night. Or follow me on Instagram at Booker TROW. I'm going to be, posting some photos and whatnot from here to Saturday night. And, like I say, man, just join the cause of, and that is the flagship of Texas wrestling.
I only have two questions left, and my only question in this case, first question would be do you guys, once this thing starts picking up, would you guys consider maybe doing shows, unless you've already done that, coming over to maybe my neck of the woods here in California and do some shows out this way?
Heck yeah, man. We plan on traveling here pretty soon. We're merging with a few different groups and bringing Reality of Wrestling to you guys. I'm actually going to be doing some stuff in Chicago. We're going to be doing some stuff in Jersey. And there's no reason why we can't, pack up and head to California. You know what I mean? So definitely we're looking expand. Actually, our TV is actually going to be looking to be picked up in California here pretty soon on the Q.
Hey.
So definitely be looking for that as well.
My last and final question. It's more, and it's if you're up for it, you can. If not, that's cool. Would a way to kind of sign off for tonight? Would you be okay with maybe saying, you're listening to Pipebomb Radio? Can you dig that, sucker? And that'll be it.
All right,
what do you think?
In 3, 2. This is Booker T, WWE Hall of Famer, and you listen to Pipebomb Radio. Now, can you dig that, sucker?
Haha, that was awesome. Thank you so much, Booker. I really, really do appreciate you coming on and educating us on reality of wrestling. We wish you guys the best of luck on your debut internet pay-per-view. Hopefully we'll maybe bring some of you guys onto the show in the future and talk with them if you're up for that.
Hey, man, say when, man. Definitely, especially after this pay-per-view, we'll definitely be open for interviews, and just give me a call and we'll set it up.
You got it, man. Wish you the best, and enjoy your night.
Appreciate it. See you,
All right,
Kat.
bye-bye. Oh, she left. Well, there you have it, folks. The legendary WWE Hall of Famer, reality of wrestling owner, a man that wears many, 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 many hats. And he's very amped up. You guys definitely check out realityofwrestling.com for their very first internet pay-per-view. You heard it himself. He'll be tweeting during the event. Charmel is the boss. She's the general manager. Got a lot of special guests coming through. I want to thank Booker very much for taking time out of his busy schedule to do this. Like I said, he wears many hats. He's also part of the WWE television crew. He does the pre- and post-shows for Raw and the pay-per-views. Great, great time. We definitely look to have him back again very soon for maybe further in-depth, and that way we can have Austin on here with him as well. But we thank you guys for joining us tonight for a very special edition of Pipebomb Radio tonight. And tune in tomorrow as in this case, we have Nacho Mama's radio show. Oscar and Mo welcome their good buddy and longtime friend, Justin Credible, a.k.a. Aldo Montoya, a.k.a. PJ Polacco. He's been known by many names. He will be joining the guys tomorrow night. And, of course, we've got the debut of Friday Night Warfare on Friday night, right after SmackDown. Stay tuned for that. It's going to be fun, hosted by Austin, and of course, the newest addition to the Pipebomb Radio team, Matt Nelson. Check that out on Friday, and of course, you cannot miss. We've got two big shows from two big guests that we've had this week. We have the Wildcats show. Go to wildcatsports.com. That's with a Wildcat with a K, or you can email them at wildcatsports.com. I don't know the email off the top of my head. Also with realityofwrestling.com, check out the tickets for the meet and greet. You obviously heard the main event, what's going to happen, and so forth. You're going to see a lot of special appearances, a lot of special guests, surprises in store. You don't want to miss out. It's going to be a hell of a weekend, let me tell you. So, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for tonight. This is Felix for Pipebomb Radio saying keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Good night, everybody.
Can you dig it, sucker?